So we're just gonna start. So this is the president's workshop. If you're not a president, you should probably leave unless you know you're invited. But yeah. So just to introduce ourselves, I'm Jasmine, the IP D28E LTG, and I also served as my home club's club president as a junior. And Caitlin, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm the IP Southwest DTA president.
All right. So we're just going to start. So the first slide is the role of president. Can anyone give an example of like the roles of a president or want to define it? You could just like, Santi, can you see them raise their hand or?
No.
No?
Since I have the free version, I think I don't have that feature.
Oh, I found it. It's on participants. So if you guys have a definition as to what the role of a president is, you could just click on participants and raise your hand and we'll just call from there. It can be something simple. All right, there. Cody.
All right, so you can submit member of the month or officer of the month submissions at the end of the month.
Thank you. Anyone else have a definition as to what the role of a president is? Okay. Oh, yes.
I was gonna say like taking responsibility and being the face of the club.
Yes. Anyone else have anything to add on?
There was another hand. I don't. Amiri?
Oh, oh, go ahead.
Sorry. It was essentially already said, but you were supposed to be someone who your members can look up to.
Yes. Michelle?
To kind of like dictate jobs and responsibilities to the rest of the board members.
We'll go for one more. Anyone else? All right.
Okay, so some of the general duties of being president include goal setting, appointing and delegating tasks, and that's pretty important, and we'll get to that later. Monitoring your club and your board especially, and making sure that everyone is staying safe key all throughout the term. Motivating your members and your board members is a big thing because without motivation, then there's really not much that you'll be able to get done. Evaluating what everyone is doing, especially your board members. Presiding over the tasks that you're assigning and the tasks that are given to your board members. Problem solving is a huge thing because people are going to look to you to help find the solutions to a lot of your club's problems if you guys have any. Recruiting and retaining members. This is especially important in the beginning of the school year when you're just starting your club and you're getting all the freshmen to become a member in your key club. Reporting to your advisors, like your faculty advisor, Kiwanis advisor, and then the Santi, our region advisor. It's good to give them updates when you can. Succession, so when you have your president-elect later in the term, it's important that you're able to train them efficiently and make sure that they'll be able to uphold all of the previous goals that you set and the goals that they will set too. And training, again, goes with succession. And then just overall setting a positive and professional example so that you yourself as a president and your club will maintain a positive appearance to everyone else and will just have a good club in standing and in appearance. So basically safety again.
So communication is one of the biggest things about being president. You have to communicate with your advisors, communicate with your board officers, and communicate with the members you serve. So one thing you can do to further your communication is create an email group, and that would be primarily for the board and the members. And emailing is really good when you talk to advisors. So it's really easy to create a Google group if you just go on Google Groups and then add everybody's email. Next is informing the members about upcoming events. You can do this through social media and your general meetings. And then being professional in all levels of communication is extremely important. The way that you represent yourself is the way that you represent the members you serve and your home club. And it's just really important to be professional at all times, no matter the circumstance. We'll get into that later. But communicating with the lieutenant governor is extremely important. Once again, they have to fill out certain things, and we just want to know kind of how well your club is doing. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to any of them because they're there to help you. Also, communicating with faculty and Kiwanis advisors is extremely important, keeping them in the loop about all decisions and just making sure everything that you do decide to do is approved.
So here are some extra things. So with the members, it's good to greet them at the door, especially when you're having your general meetings. It's nice to know everyone's name, and if you have a big club, it's kind of hard, but the more effort that you put into being a president and getting to know the members that you serve, the greater the bond that you will have throughout the term. And with your board members, it's good to have board meetings at least once a month. When I was president, I had board meetings right before every general meeting we had, so that it was a little more planned out well, so that you guys can discuss the upcoming projects, finances, goals, progress, etc. You always want to make sure that you're doing what needs to be done to get to the goals that you plan ahead of time. And make sure that you are a team, involve them in all of your discussions, and delegating is such an important thing. Because if you're one of the people who wants to take all of the tasks for yourself because you seem like you want to have everything as perfect as possible, you need to know that your board members are there to help you and help serve the members also. So just make sure that you're always delegating, making sure that everyone has a task, because you're all working to serve a common purpose. With your advisors, they have the experience you need. I know that I had a new advisor this past term, but we work together so that we can complete the same goals that we both had in mind. And it's good to learn from each other because what your advisor may know, you may not, and vice versa. So always keep them informed about everything that you're doing and be willing to listen to their advice because they are much wiser than we are. And same goes with the lieutenant governors. They also have valuable information to relay on to you that they get from the district or from their division, and especially Ms. Santee. And so just make sure that you're always keeping contact with your LTG or your advisors because they're always there for you. And don't be shy to communicate. It might seem a little scary because they're kind of higher up, but it's really no problem because they're there for you, basically. And for executives, if you have questions or need someone to talk to, you can always contact any of your officers, even your extended officers, like they're there for you again. So always know that you have these connections during the term.
So for the members, she mentioned that it's really good to know everyone's name, especially if you have a large club. When I served as president, we had around like 150 members, and it was hard to keep track of like everyone's name. But it's really helpful, especially if you're having low attendance, to just like use that personal connection and make bonds with each member to encourage them to go to events or go to meetings. It'll help you in the long run. So moving on. So your main duty is to serve as a chief executive officer. That doesn't mean that you're going to be the only one making the calls, but you should also be contacting, your board officers and your advisors. But it really does mean that you are the face of the club, and whatever decisions you do make or whatever happens within the club, it does reflect on you and kind of the members that you serve. So other duties include calling and presiding over board meetings. You can also delegate tasks to officers. You can create committees, so task coordinators or event coordinators. And you have to ensure that all the tasks are completed. So MRFs, dues, articles and visuals, all of that. It's really up to you how you want to have your officers finish tasks. For example, you can set the due date for the division. It's around the 10th for articles and visuals, I think. And then you could set it a little bit before that, just to ensure that they have enough time to complete the tasks and get everything submitted, so that your LTGs will have something to use in their newsletters. It's really helpful to just set the due dates before the actual due date, just to give yourself a little more time. Also, you have to hold elections prior to decon and submit your new board roster to your lieutenant governor. If you guys haven't submitted your emails or contact information, you should do that soon. And your main purpose as president is to serve the members.
So a big part of being president is to attend. Like Jasmine said, you are the face of the club. So you would represent your club at Kiwanis meetings and functions. If you want to learn more about your Kiwanis club, then you should contact your Kiwanis advisor. And you would represent your club at division council meetings, which are the monthly meetings that your division holds for all the clubs to get together at one day a month. So there you would give your old business news, new business. So be sure that you're prepared for that. And you're given a lot of opportunities to interact with other clubs and members. So it's a good way to build connections and friendships there too. Another thing is to attend service projects and club division events. If your club is hosting service projects, it's a really good way to get to know your members more if you're there to serve with them, and you can kind of bond over those events also. And at club division events, say like RTC, that's like a huge event that you could build your connections with and meet new people. So it's a great way to attend. It's a good thing to attend all of these events, especially Fall Rally, Decon if you can, and Icon if you can. Fall Rally, if you don't know it, it's held at Six Flags right after RTC about 11 months later. It's also just a big, huge version of RTC, just another great way to meet people from the California, Nevada, Hawaii district. So if you plan on attending any of these events, there's really no downsides to them. They're just a really good way for you to represent your club and just meet new people.
Also, as far as these events go, please make sure that you aren't going to these events just for the fun. Like, for example, our RTC is the biggest in the world, and we kind of hold it in a different way than other RTCs, but we still want to make sure that we're promoting service and we're educating the members that we serve. So just keep that in mind for every convention and conference that we hold. Moving on, hosting meetings is a big part of our duties as president. So you should host regular Key Club meetings. It could be weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the availability of your advisors in school. So at these meetings, you should be discussing upcoming and past events and answering any questions that the members suggest. You can also post your agendas and meetings to give more information, or just have a log of everything, just in case a member isn't there. And you can also invite members and other officers to present during meetings. For example, if you are hosting a fundraiser or something like a service event, and it was a member's idea, you can have them speak on behalf of it. It's up to you what you want to do with that.
So it's important to always assist and ask. So you would, of course, monitor all of the officer work to ensure that they're completed on time, but you're always there if they need an extra hand. So it's always a good way to familiarize yourself with the MRF, articles and visuals, newsletters, because your board members will go to you when they need help. It may not be all the time, but you just want to make sure that you're prepared. And having not exceptional knowledge, but enough to get by, because I know that no one's going to know, like, where was the first Key Club founded? Like, the trivial questions are important, but when you're a president, it's best to know more of the basic stuff, like where the DCM is going to be held. So If you don't have that information, it's always best to go to your LTG or your faculty advisor because they might have the answers. So it's just good to have that extra FAQ information. And if you want to learn all of the trivial stuff, and that's pretty fun too, because it could come in handy one day. And it's good to educate new members about Key Club. I know every year at Southwest, we dedicate our first general meeting just to educate the members about what Key Club is and all that stuff so that they can get a general understanding of what it is. But I understand that there's like this difficulty of people trying to summarize what Key Club is. And it's the best way to show what Key Club is to just make sure that everyone is participating in service, because we are a service-based organization. So just make sure that that's the first thing that you're going to promote during your term. And again, asking for assistance when you need it from your faculty or your Kiwanis advisors is always a good way to make sure that you're doing something right and to prevent any mistakes possible. And then, of course, you're transitioning the president-elect later on in your term. So when they have any questions, they could always just come to you when they need it during their term. So just make sure that you're always up to date, that you have all the information that you need during your term, basically.
So as president, you get to set goals for your club. You should discuss with your officers to set attainable goals. So if your club has, let's say, 40 people and you want 1 million service hours, just rethink that a bit, just to make it more reasonable. So a start would be our club will achieve blank hours per member. And from there, you could build on. You could set goals every quarter or however you want. For membership is always a big deal for our club. We want to retain and raise our membership numbers, so you could set goals for that. And fundraising, our club will contribute blank amount to PTP and blank amount to the Eliminate Project. You can also donate to other preferred charities, but those are the two that are included in this PowerPoint.
Okay, so we're going to transition on to the next section of the presentation to It's All in the Club. So, okay, so the dream team is your board. So everyone should have at least one person in each of these positions. I know some people or some clubs have multiple presidents or multiple editors, but basically the vice president is your sidekick, BFF, assistant, lifesaver, and alter ego. This is the person that you're probably going to be going most to during your term because they should be your right hand, basically. Same goes with your secretary, your aide, your reporter, stenographer, and dependable best friend. Your secretary is going to have all of the logistical information during your term. And the MRFs that they have are like their precious baby. They will have everything that you need during your term, and all of the contact information and all the service hours, everything will be inputted there. So if you have any questions regarding those types of things, you can always go to your secretary. And with your vice president, they're more, they're like your secretary, but of course they don't get deep into the MRF. If you have any questions regarding like communication or like, is there any way we can improve this in the club? Like that's mainly who you're gonna go to. Your treasurer, so they finance, they're the finance and fundraising guru and thrifty companion. So when you have any information or questions regarding money or any fundraising ideas, you would go to your treasurer and they could help you out, and they'll be there to serve you and connect the club with your school's banker. And your editor, your tech genius, designer, publicist, and communicator. This is the person they would likely be communicating with the members via social media. They would be creating the newsletters or any videos like an end of the year video or a recruitment video. So if you want to do anything online or in social media to kind of connect yourself with the members, your club with the members, then you would go to your editor and they would probably have some type of graphical skills. So if you ever need flyers, anything like that, you can always go to them.
So the Ohana is the membership. So it's really important to get to know the members in your club. And it's just really important to create bonds with them. You should try to keep yourself approachable. Don't be like someone standing in the corner, you know, looking all mean, because they'll be scared to talk to you. And it really just creates more of a divide between the board officers and the members. You should also be thankful for all the members that you serve. It's all teamwork, so you just want to keep that in mind. So during general meetings or through social media, you can ask for ideas, suggestions, and opinions on certain things. For example, oh, would you guys like to have a Brew Tea Bar fundraiser, or do you guys want to do a Chick-fil-A fundraiser? Things like that. It's also important to take surveys just to understand how the members feel about certain aspects of the club that you can improve on. And it's really important to keep everyone informed. So problem solving.
Okay, so a big thing that happens, especially after RTC and fall rally season, is no one showing up to the meetings. So some ways to plan more appealing meetings are food and music are good crowd gatherers. You could have a feast during the holidays to try and get everyone back together. Some icebreakers that can lighten the mood and energize the crowd and help everyone get to know each other. You can go to the Cyber Key for ideas, but I know that RTC, some presenters, they would play some icebreakers during their sessions. And you could get some good ideas from them too, or you could always go to your LPG. They probably have enough experience with icebreakers to let you know what works, what's really fun. And then you can plan and promote more events. So big events and meaningful long-term projects. So some common things that I see are fundraising projects and service projects that go on throughout the entire term. So that's one way that you can engage your members to keep them coming back to the meeting. And consider the member opinions and cater to their interests. So like Jasmine said, we should always have surveys or like get to know what the members want, because in the end, you're serving the members, and the foundation of the club are the members. So you always want to know what they want to do, because they will, like, if you're not serving the members, then who else are you going to serve? So always make sure that they're always engaged, coming to the meetings, so that we can prevent any of the decreasing retainment rate after RTC and fall rally.
So if there is drama throughout your term, try to approach it really unbiased. For example, if two officers or two members are just bringing personal issues into the club, try to mediate or address your advisor and ask for help. You can also address the problem head on if it is something that is within the board, and you should do it as soon as possible and just talk to your faculty advisor about that first, since they will most likely be the mediator. If it's something to do with the way meetings are or any like elections, refer to your club's constitution and bylaws, and just remember to talk to your Kiwanis and faculty advisors. They've seen it all, and they're the most wise, and they can help you with any other problems that may occur. Try not to bring personal like conflicts to like board meetings or things like that. Key Club is a fun club, but just remember that we are here to do business. And these are just some other additional resources. There's manuals for each position, and that is the CNH Cyber Key link. And then Key Club International link is the second bullet point. And there are other reflectors on our CNH Cyber Key. And these are important deadlines. If you guys want to take a picture, we'll leave that up for a minute. You guys can raise your hand if you need more time, or I can just move on. No? Okay. And these are your remind codes for each division. if you guys want to take a picture of that too. So before we do open forum, we'll just talk about a few grants. These are all grants that you can apply for a certain service project or idea that you may have. So the first is the YOF, the Youth Opportunities Fund. Personally, I applied for the YOF grant, and I used it for one of the service projects that my club helped with throughout the year. It really helps to have money to a project that you might want to carry out. For example, the project that I carried out was called Books for More. It was for little free libraries throughout like Southern Nevada. You can also apply for the CNH PTP grant and the Nickelodeon Halo movement. There are other resources that you may find on the CNH Cyber Key. And I saw that there was a chat. Miss Angie. Oh, never mind, I got it. Are there D238 East deadlines? Unfortunately, I did not get the D2 or 38 East deadlines, but if you talk to your respective
Jasmine, hold on. Ashley's in the room. Sorry, I was talking with the mic on mute.
Oh, sorry.
That's why you didn't hear me.
No, I didn't.
Go ahead, Ashley, and address. They want to know about deadlines for Jasmine, can you go back to your deadline slide?
Can everyone hear me?
Hold on. Hold on. There you go.
There you go. So articles and visuals, Ashley, first.
Oh, sorry, my Wi-Fi. Regarding that, I still have to discuss that with my DLT that's soon to be elected. And since I only have 2 presidents in here right now, I'll get back to the rest of you, the rest of the officers, when all of it gets sorted out. But that'll probably be within the next week. So I'm sorry that that's not available right now.
Are there any other questions for right now? Sandy, do you have anything else to add?
I do. Okay. I just got word, and your advisors do not know this yet. Someone just entered. Kiwanis International has changed the ratio from 1 to 12 to 1 to 10. It is only gender specific for overnight events. Okay, so that is the new ratio that we have to follow when we are looking for chaperones.
Okay, so we're just gonna do an open forum right now. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Oh, if I figure it out. But does anybody have any questions right now? Don't be shy, ask a question. Okay, well, I guess I'll just add this little part. There's some questions about like club hours and personal hours. So for club hours, that's usually what you present at your general meeting. So, you know, the events with the advisor, present and everything like that with the Kiwanis ratio. And personal hours are things that you like do without like the club affiliation. For example, you can like volunteer at the library or the hospital and call that personal hours, but we don't count anything that you're paid for personal hours. So let's say you're working at like your parents' business and they pay you like $10. That's not community service. Babysitting is kind of the same way, so just keep that in mind. Other than that, do you have anything else to add, Caitlin?
I think from past experience, some people have questions about like chaperones and how to find them. One way that Southwest finds chaperones is we go to our teachers. We try to kind of sweeten it up a little bit. We kind of offer them a shirt here and there, so we kind of, kind of get them to chaperone, and they get something out of it too. And it works out for everyone because they get to go to the event, they get to see some of their students, and it just becomes a great way to bond with everyone. So if you ever need chaperones, always go to your teachers, even your advisors, your Kiwanis advisors. They'll help you out if you need it. So just be sure to ask.
Do any of the current lieutenant governors have anything to add to the presentation?
You have a question for the 28 South Remind Code because someone didn't catch it.
Oh, it's just U2AS.
Feliza, since you're speaking, do you have anything to add?
So I learned a tip from one Daniel Mintz, the event coordinator, and she told me that you guys, one way that they get chaperones for big events such as DCMs, and I know you guys struggle trying to get members to, I know you guys have members that want to attend certain events, but you guys have to follow the chaperone rule, is to talk to your Kiwanis. I know many of you guys are not very close with your Kiwanis, so maybe you could use that as a goal this term to get close to them, as they're a great resource, not only just to get chaperones, but also to help you guys with any scholarships or funds.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
All right. Actually, I'm going to take this off because, give me a second. Okay. I really want to emphasize, because I know you guys already talked about communication, but I really do want to emphasize communication, not only for you to have good communication, but also your board members to have good communication with you, vice versa. And communication is just such an important, aspect of being involved with Key Club, especially from experience of being lieutenant governor. These past months, what's it called? And especially with the situation we are in right now, communication right now is really what is holding us together at this moment. So make sure you really emphasize communication with anyone that is in Key Club, whether it's Kiwanis, your advisors, lieutenant governors, presidents, board members, all of that. And yes, that is it.
Any other LTGs have anything to add?
Oh wait, actually, can I say something?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if it does come to this situation, if we do end up going back to school and we have member recruitment or freshman orientation, freshman orientation is probably one of the most important, probably the most effective way to recruit members, because these students are fresh, they're just starting high school, they want something new to do, starting high school, stuff like that. So we want you to really prepare yourself for freshman orientation, already have a speech planned, or have a little video to promote, your own hometown video kind of thing. So really, if we do have that, make sure you prepare for freshman orientation. Okay, that's it.
All right, any other LTGs have anything to add? So if you were at the beginning of the call, Ms. Santee mentioned that there's a special guest on the call. Sorry, Daniel, for forgetting to introduce you. I have a tendency to forget to introduce people like Green Valley at RTC, but introducing Daniel Min, our district governor.
Hello. Wait, do I say a little something or?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Okay, so hi guys. So just wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Daniel, and for this upcoming term, I'm going to be serving as your next CNH district governor. And I know that not most of you guys here are club presidents and club officers. And I just want to let you know that you guys have one of the most important jobs within CNH, because as a lieutenant governor, as a district officer, we can't make those personal connections as much because there's so many members to reach out to. But then you as club officers are the ones who can make the most impact on a member's journey. And I remember I served as an event coordinator at my club. And during that time, I was really able to reach out to a lot of people and kind of like step out of my comfort zone and like really make that impact and try to increase my club's membership. And we did end up increasing our membership by like around like 30 members. And then, as you know, like with the recent decline, like over the past 3 years, we've already declined over 6,000 members. And like for us, that's a very bad situation financially in terms of us as a district. Like if we keep going on like this, we won't be able to support all the activities that we do financially if we don't get our membership count up. So then I hope like all of you like as club officers can really take that extra leap during this upcoming year and like try your best to recruit members and really go all out. And especially during this time as quarantine, like this is a really good chance for all of you guys to stand out, because personally, like within my area, like there's a lot of clubs that have kind of just shut down their functions. Like they just stopped like holding events altogether. But then the only clubs that I see that are like being proactive, holding online service events, socials is Key Club. And like during this time, this is when Key Club can kind of really shine through like what we truly stand for, service, like doing every little thing that we can, even during the hardest times. So I really hope you guys take this opportunity and like kind of spread your wings and show everyone that Key Club really is the best club. But thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay. So we're just going to talk a little bit about like certain aspects of presidency that you'll face. So we talked about like professionalism and just like how to hold yourself as a president. But we also want to remember that the way that the standards that we hold ourselves to are also the standards that we should be holding our members to. So if you see anyone doing anything unsafe, make sure you can just talk to them about it. It doesn't have to be like a huge deal, but you could just be like, hey, I saw that you did this at the general meeting. Next time, I'd appreciate it if you didn't do this, or just like make sure we're holding ourselves to a high standard. Caitlin, do you have anything to add about SafeKey?
This issue kind of arose this year. It was based on an icebreaker we used to play, but now we were taught, or we realized that it was kind of disrespectful, and we apologize for it. So make sure that whatever you're doing, it's always in a positive approach. Always think about what you're doing. It may not seem like a big deal at the time, but just think about the effects that may come like a week from now, a month from now. It's really all going to matter in the end on how people see you and how you see your club and basically yourself.
Another really important part of especially this time in quarantine is our online presence. Please rethink your social medias, whether it be your Twitter, your Instagram, your Finsta, your Snap, anything. Just make sure you're posting only SafeKey things, and make sure you're not like bashing anyone or just disrespecting anyone in any way. We just really want to make sure that Key Club is held to a high regard. We don't want other clubs to be like, oh, Key Club is just all fun, all they do is scream, they're really crazy, I hate them. No, you just want to make sure that our image is really good, and we want to provide the best environment for the members that we serve. If a member sees you post like some unsafe thing on your like Snap, they're gonna be like, oh, this person's doing it, so I'm gonna do it too. We really don't want that chain to drag on throughout like social media, and since we're all in quarantine, we don't want our only online presence to be a bad experience, so just keep that in mind. And next we have Ms. Santee to add something.
If you are seeing SafeKey and you've tried addressing it with your membership and they're just not getting the hang of it, please talk with your advisors. We're here to help you, not hinder you. And even though you are presidents, you are still students, and sometimes students don't quite listen to other students, and it may take that advisor addressing that student. We're here to help you and help guide the club so that you guys can do your best that you can be. Just to reiterate, Jasmine, what Jasmine has been saying is that we want Key Club to shine with a very bright light, because Key Club is known to be a very positive club, and we want to keep it as a positive club. And that's why we emphasize Safe Key so much.
Also, just to add a little information, not all Key Club districts practice Safe Key. So like if you see like a Key Club in like Tennessee being not Safe Key, don't follow them. Follow CNH Safe Key. Other than that, does anybody have any other questions? Like anything at all? You could just text it in the chat if you don't want to speak up, or you could raise your hand and we can call on you. We just really want to make sure that we're offering you as much resources or support as you may need throughout the next term.
I like to make one comment. During your guys' term, make sure that if you know something that's not related to Key Club, do not affiliate it with Key Club. If you guys are gonna, for example, have an after party after RTC, please do not say, oh, it's gonna be an RTC after party. Do not associate Key Club with that, because that you guys can have it, but just we want to create a positive image for Key Club if anything happens during that after party.
So there is a question that says, do you have any advice about recruiting members for small clubs? Caitlin, do you want to start?
I have a rather big club,
Me too.
but I guess some advice I would have, I know at freshman orientation, we would normally go like class to class to each session to kind of educate as many freshmen as possible about Key Club. I know that we also sometimes have candy, because who doesn't like something sweet? You know, it's always the little things that will kind of make them think, oh, maybe I should join or go to this first meeting just to see what it's about. And you can, like, Key Club spreads by word of mouth pretty easily. I know that some clubs are huge, like Clark Key Club, and you guys probably have a lot of members being recruited every year. But with the small clubs, it's kind of more difficult because you're trying to reach a wider audience with not a lot of members. But again, you can always check in the cyber key for some ideas. You can always go to your LTG, your Kiwanis faculty advisors. They're always there to help you. And if you ever need more advice or more information, you can always reach out to your IP officers or even your board members, like in your term right now, because I'm pretty sure everyone has ideas. It's just a matter of reaching out and just asking for them, rather than having or being expected to get all of these suggestions relayed to you.
So one of the clubs in Division 28 East from when I was LTG was a really small club my sophomore year when I was secretary. It was Coral Academy. But right now they have around like 60 to 70 members, and they're doing really well with recruitment. One thing that really helped was just, I noticed that they weren't at any DCMs my sophomore year. So I kind of just like texted the president. I was like, yo, you gonna come to the next DCM? And she was like, yeah, I'll come. So then she invited like her members, and then they attended. And then ever since then, they've grown exponentially. So I think a really important way to recruit members is just reaching out. Like, let's say you see someone at lunch and you're just like, hey, you want to join Key Club? Like, let's go to a Key Club meeting together. And then they're like, okay, I don't know what Key Club is. And then you explain it, and then they join and they really love it. Then you just keep doing that until you get like 400 members. No, I'm just kidding. But it's always the little efforts that count. Someone asked, what can I tell people about why they should join Key Club? There are a few different service clubs on my school. So what makes us stick out? So I think it's really important to have an elevator speech. This is basically like your pitch of what Key Club is in like the span of like an elevator length like conversation. Caitlin, do you have an elevator speech prepared for us?
I know Megan does, but some things that you can mention. So always try to emphasize that we are a service-based club. I know that's going to be a little hard to differentiate between the other service clubs at your school, but sometimes we have recruitment videos, and in those videos, we just have videos of us at RTC, Fall Rally, and especially just our general meetings. At our general meetings, we always have service events, and you can tell how enjoyable the members find the meetings because you're just bonding with your club while also gaining service hours. It's kind of hard to talk about what exactly Key Club is if not a service-based organization, because that's what everyone is going to go to first. But it's really, you have to find what makes your club stand out, because every single club is going to be based on the same values, but it's really dependent on what you want to give for your club and its members. So yeah, it's a little hard, but with practice, you'll be able to find a few things that you can say to try and engage your future members. And I know that some clubs, they would target the parents at freshman orientation and kind of influence them to have their kids join Key Club, say that they provide scholarships, and they do. It's not false, but just always emphasize that we are here to serve the community, and we're just a fun club, you know. Like, I would always mix it between National Honor Society and like cheerleading, even though it's not entirely accurate, but it seems kind of fun when you put it that way, and it is. It's what you make it, basically. Key Club is what you make it. So yeah, I'm sorry, that wasn't really
My elevator
but
speech.
I'm doing my best.
My elevator speech to adults, because I attend Green Valley's freshman orientation also, and normally the parents want to talk to the adult of the club, is, hi, my name is Hannah Santee. I am the advisor to Green Valley Key Club, and Key Club is the oldest and largest service-led organization in the world. It is student-led, and we teach leadership through community service. And then the parent will go on and ask questions. For example, why should they be in this versus NHS or something like that? And my answer would be, well, we are an international organization. We are recognized worldwide, which allows us to open up the possibility of scholarships for your students when it becomes college time. In addition, colleges know that Key Clubbers are good students. So when they see that you have Key Club on your resume, sorry, when you see Key Club on the resume, they know what type of student that you are and that you have actively participated in volunteering.
Also, one thing I like to do, because at Coronado, we had our freshman orientation, and then a lot of parents would just like see my badge, you know, the gold one. They're like, yo, what's that? And I'm like, this is my Key Club badge. And they're like, oh, what is Key Club? Like, y'all make keys? And I was like, nope. So you just basically explain what everything is. So like our service, our mission, and basically like the requirements. But what really gets like parents is like, oh, your student could be an officer or the next lieutenant governor or, you know, the next district governor. Like, they really like to see that Key Clubbers take initiative, and they like to see like leadership roles and things like that throughout like the freshman orientation. And it's really helpful to have like a video or a poster that stands out from everybody else's, because everybody's gonna have candy, everybody's gonna have you know, like their trifold posters. Last year I think Coronado did their like cheer or something, and then everybody was like, what was that? And then they came over and we talked to all of them. But it's just really a matter of like how you want to address people to kind of lure them into checking out your booth. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Can I say something?
Go for it.
All right. So my home club personally is a small club. So my advice to all the small clubs out there really is just promoting. The thing with small clubs is that like a lot of people at that school won't know what Key Club is just because we're not putting ourselves out there. And for instance, our school has a lot of like lunch events that happens. For example, there's First Friday, and First Friday it's like it's where clubs have the opportunity to sell stuff for their to get money and to fundraise and stuff like that. And with Key Club, we take that opportunity to and we like, hey, can we have a spot and we can sell this and this, and yeah, just put your club out there and just let's see, promoting thing like when it comes to promoting, like have like if you have a bulletin editor, make sure that that bulletin is like really stands out and like it really catches students' attention. And or even if your school has like morning announcements, ask the media team like, hey, can we have like at least like 30 seconds talking about what Key Club is, having like recruitment stuff like that. Promoting, like, that's the best advice I can give for all small clubs, is just make sure you just really put Key Club out there at your school.
Lorelai, I think that's a question for you. Are we doing another Zoom call for the RTC theme? And what are other volunteering activities that we can do during this quarantine?
Oh, okay. So wait, so there's a lot of wait, I don't know if is this from 38 for the service events or volunteer activities? Because I know what Las Vegas is doing is a lot of hospitals and stuff have been working their very best, and like they're always exhausted. So what we promoted is to do like thank you / motivational videos to send to hospitals, just to make doctors and nurses feel better and like have hope, and let them know that we are appreciating what they are doing every second of the day. And another one that relates to is like simply just thank you cards, or even just sending like a pen pal system to senior citizens, because with the whole quarantine, senior citizens are sorry, I cannot talk today. Senior citizens, they're really isolated at this point, because like they really have to stay home just because they are at higher risk. So it is very lonely for them. So like simply sending them a card saying how just appreciating them, stuff like that. And then another one is actually, this is a service project that I've been doing with my whole family, is we are making masks. And here I actually have one right here. So like it's a really simple mask design, and it's really cute too, and like so those are the service events that we promoted to Las Vegas. So, and I'm pretty sure that's it's available to everybody. And let's see, what was the other question? The RTC theme, I don't know if that was answered already. I mean, that question. Okay, yeah.
Said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll be just promoting the RTC theme through our social media, so that's just our best bet, since we can't promote it at OTC since it is on different days. Is there any other questions about service?
I think Caitlin wanted to talk. Oh wait, you should answer this question first. Are we going to even have an RTC?
Let's just keep our hopes up, cross our fingers.
Lorelai, you want me to address it?
Yes, please, because I will cry if.
Okay. As of right now, we are planning for a normal RTC. We don't have any information about how next school year is going to happen. So that's the direction that we're headed in. So presenter, a Google form for presenters will be coming out and all of that sort of stuff, just like in past years. So keep an eye out for that. If we have to change the format of RTC, you will know as soon as I know.
Caitlin, did you want to?
Hey, I may not have to use earplugs if you're yelling through masks.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to add is organization. It wasn't in the presentation, but organization is super important. I know that with everything I did, I had a Google Doc for literally everything. And when, like, being a president, you have to take care of a lot of the little nitpicky things. So you would always be helping out your executive board members with their tasks. So you would always have some form of communication to work with them, whether it be like sharing a doc together or creating Google Forms together. Just always make sure that you're on top of all of your things. And if you stay organized, you're gonna know where to find everything. And when general members have questions, you have resources to them to just give them. So always make sure that you have everything basically organized, professional. Graphic standards is a huge, you have to make sure that you're in graphic standards all the time because it helps you look professional and it just looks nice overall. So just be sure to keep up with everything that's being updated with your division and district. And yeah.
One thing other I want to talk about is that your clubs need recognition, and to be recognized on the district level, if you don't submit, you don't get recognized. In Las Vegas and in the 38s, we have not had a large amount of recognition, and that really is selling yourself short. So I want one of your goals all to be to encourage your boards to submit the distinguished portfolios and the club websites and the t-shirt contest and things of that sort. I know the awards are the award applications are still on the cyber key from this past term. And typically the requirements do not change by much. So it's definitely better to look at it at the beginning of your term and say, okay, what can we do now to start accomplishing some goals so that we can be distinguished? And start putting that on the thought process of your officers so that when it comes to applying in January or February, whenever the dates are, that you actually have a plan and it's not all last minute. Because Vegas and the High Desert are both underrepresented at CNH District Awards.
So I'm just gonna share my screen so you guys can see like how to get to the cyber key. So right now I'm on the cyber key website, and for the distinguished applications, you can go to, it should be contest, but I don't know where.
Go to recognition.
Oh, there we go, contests. So recognition, then contest, and then you can see all of these like applications. So you guys are all presidents, so then you can open up the PDF, and these are the requirements. The big thing with doing a like distinguished application or any application to the district is graphic standards. So you really want to be familiar with all of that and making sure that you're submitting on time and giving yourself enough time to finish the application. Keep in mind, like, the submissions deadline is right here, and you just don't want to miss that. And if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to your LTGs about how to apply and everything like that. Does anybody have any questions about the CNH website or any of the
Jasmine, go
contests?
back to there again to the I guess options. The other one that is also underrepresented is right there at the top. Your advisors do not get any recognition unless you submit for them. Okay. And that's, they go through a lot with you. I would like to see more advisors being submitted also.
Wait, could I add something to the awards really quickly?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so regarding like some of the awards here, like Advisor of the Year, Member of the Year, there's a specific criteria where some of them are division judged and some are district judged. So then there's certain contests that are going to be judged by your division, and it's going to be by a division judging committee. So like literally, if you have one applicant that goes to apply your advisor for Advisor of the Year, that means that advisor automatically gets that award. So it would be like if one of your divisions doesn't have an Advisor of the Year, then it's a little bit sad because that means that there is probably one deserving advisor within your division that could have automatically gotten it if you had just applied for it. So like once the division judging contests like come out, just know that there are like one has to be chosen within your division, and it's a lot easier to get than some of the district awards as well. So when your LTG announces your division judge contest, then make sure you apply for it. Oh, and also a little bit about distinguished treasurers, secretaries. Like this past year, we had a lot less winners for the awards. So to put it in like perspective, we had 3 distinguished treasurers. So only 3 out of around 780 treasurers got the award. So there has been a really big decline of like officers getting unrecognized. So really try to encourage your officers to apply because like I'm sure there's plenty of officers that are more than worthy of being distinguished, but maybe aren't filling it out properly or probably didn't know early on that they had to do certain things. So really try to emphasize it with them because I know a lot of club officers that deserved it didn't get it because they didn't prepare far ahead enough.
And I will have to say also that Jasmine mentioned that graphic standards is really important. It's not just really important, it's extremely important. If you don't follow graphic standards, the amount of points that you can lose can actually put you to the point where you have to get 100% on everything else in the application to be distinguished. So it's something that's easy that you can do, and just follow rules basically. You have a question of, can we submit 2 for advisors if we have 2?
For the advisors of the year, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's the division judging committee. You can apply for as many advisors as you want. Like if you have like 4, you could apply for all 4. What matters most is that you apply. And I know a lot of us have the mentality like, oh, there's probably like a million people applying, like I'm never gonna get it. But in reality, like you can't have that mentality with these awards because like there's like 3 people applying and you never know until you try. Last year for Division 28 East, when I did my division judging committee, we had around like 2 applications from the same person. And I reached out to each president and I was like, hey, you should apply for like an award or something like that. And then the only one that responded to me, he ended up applying for like advisor of the year, I think, and most improved club, and he automatically got it because like no one else applied. So it's just really important to just apply for everything that you can and just be organized with all of these forms and things like that because they'll ask you for specific things. Anyone else have any questions?
I would also like to mention about the membership recognition program. Not only can officers be recognized for their hard work, also members. If you guys contact or get in touch with your secretaries anytime soon, there is a page on their MRF regarding the membership recognition program. And there's just certain criteria your members have to follow, and they could, following these criteria, they could reach certain levels. And it's just a great way to also appreciate your members as they're also the foundation of your club. And without them, Key Club wouldn't be where we are right now.
Anyone else have any other questions at all? We just really want to make sure we're going in depth through anything that you guys want to know or any tips. Yes, no. I think one helpful tip for general meetings was like playing music throughout like our speakers and then just keeping the vibe up till like the meeting started. What's really important about that is that you have to keep the music safe key and make sure it's not disturbing like other surrounding classrooms because they might maybe like doing an activity or something. But just really try to keep the mood really good during meetings because that's where you communicate with your members and that's where you have the chance to create those bonds that like higher like positions may not be able to. For your lieutenant governors, just keep in mind they serve multiple schools, so they may not always be able to go to your general meeting or go to a board meeting. So you're primarily the face of the club. And with that being said, do you have anything else to add, Caitlin?
I don't have anything right now. Does anyone else have any questions to add to the chat? Or
Just a little tip. I know you guys are all in quarantine. You guys have so much free time right now. One way to utilize the time you have right now is to create a plan. I know it sounds tedious, but plan out how each month is going to go. I know a lot of clubs struggle with fundraisers. Plan out what the fundraiser is going to be for that month and see how that goes. If you guys want to have a social, plan that out. And I know you guys, every Saturday, most of you guys have service event. Try to incorporate things so members have something to look forward, not just going at service. Because you guys want to retain your members and you just don't want them to disappear.
So, and then sorry, go ahead. You can go ahead.
And then another tip for freshman orientation, you do not want to intimidate them. If you guys all like the whole board is like up front and you guys just talk about what your position is, you kind of lose your audience because you can have 100 people in a room, but suddenly if they start the board starts just talking about themselves, they're going to be like, oh, I think I want to leave. This doesn't seem interesting to me. So a great way to capture people's attentions is always to have a video showcasing what the club is really about. And having a visual representation sees, oh, this is what the club is. They're not just talking about, oh, they're just, these people are important. It's much more than that.
The question that was asked was, what would you recommend for music? Fusion, jazz, K-pop, techno? Honestly, like, I'm more of a chill person. Like, I listen to chill music. But the most important thing that you want to do is make sure it's safe key. Like, make sure it's something that everybody would like to listen to. At my school, I wouldn't say we like to listen to country. So I don't play country. Just try to keep it new and like safe key. Nikki is always a good choice. And Feliza mentioned,
remember you also have Kiwanians in the room and advisors. So, and since you're asking what type, I know that almost every time a Disney song comes on, key clubbers start belting it out at the top of their lungs. So since you were asking for suggestions, there's a suggestion.
Yeah, the Disney soundtrack goes hard. Feliza mentioned the freshman orientation. I think it's really important to mention your own experience, not only from like a parent's perspective, but from a student's perspective. Like if you're like, oh yeah, like Key Club is like the reason why I like met this person, or like, oh, I really enjoyed going to this service event, things like that. It's going to be really easy for them to relate and connect, and we'll probably want to make them join Key Club more. Oh, yeah, you should listen to High School Musical, the series, I think. I don't know. And Lorelai added that there is a safe key playlist that you can use. Anyone else have any questions about anything?